Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Tribeca Film Festival. This film here is called So Far All Good. And here's a quick synopsis. Ace, a young man who returns home after a prison sentence, faces reality where his girlfriend has moved on, money is scarce, and the city he remembers is different. And this is directed by Seck, and it stars Rasan Kuvly. I think I'm saying your name right. I hope I am. But So Far All Good is kind of a play on what we constantly hear about adapting back to society here. As we're introduced to Ace here, as Ace has to learn how the city moves again, learn how his life has changed on the outside world as he's been on the inside. That is the crux of this film, and it's also possibly a problem with this film. This film, directed by Seck, is so abstract at times that unless that is your mode of film that you like to watch, I think the abstractness can take you out of it. As even when we see the struggles of Ace throughout the film, none of it feels grounded in a reality that most people can adjust to and understand. It feels grounded in a mindset of someone who is figuring things out. To me, it's an amazing creative way to pinpoint the film, as I feel like the reason why it feels so abstract at times of the film is because that's just Ace readjusting to his life on the outside. And because of that, it makes it a very interesting watch. And at the same time, I can understand there's going to be groups of people who are going to struggle to watch this film. But the whole film is just about Ace. And it's about building up to everything that goes on in Ace's life, down to him going to see his girlfriend, which is a hilarious scene set up. And she's been gone for months and he knew nothing about it. And someone asks him, well, where have you been at? And he says everything but prison before just informing him that's where he's coming from. And it felt like he was attempting to hide that he was in prison because of the shame that came along with having to admit that to somebody and then have somebody openly accept that and move on from that with no issue. Again, it's little things like that that Seck does in this film from a directing standpoint to really engage his audience. And I think that's the key element here. Engaging his audience. It's not going to engage a general audience. They're going to be thoroughly confused of exactly what they're getting here. But if you're someone who does like the abstract filmmaking at times and those elements, I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy So Far All Good for what it brings. This is a short watch too. It's just over 70 minutes. Like, you're not going to be stuck with this film long. And Ace as a character, played by Rasan, is very good, very interesting character. Down to him haggling for a cell phone at one point in time. Him attempting to find different ways now to make money, to make a living for himself. And again, all of this is while he's adjusting to the new life on the outside, which is an element while you wish that Seck would have focused more on and developed what that means. But nonetheless, you still get a thoroughly entertaining film from the perspective of Ace. And I think the way they shot it, and for me, that feels like it's supposed to be Ace's perspective on what the world is around him. It's one of the most creative elements of making film that is done in this film here, where it's an acknowledgement that Ace is struggling, and you kind of use the camera to show Ace's struggle. And that's what makes this film something where, even if it's not the most enjoyable watch, it's something that you could watch and just appreciate the art form behind it. But So Far All Good, again, brought to you by the 2025 Tribeca Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. This is a solid film, while it has its flaws in it, even with its short runtime. And those flaws is very simple. It feels like some of this stuff should have been expounded upon, exactly how Ace got into jail once he got out. those relationships he attempted to maintain in jail. Things of this nature could have taken this film to a completely different level. But still, what you get is a very earnest depiction on what it means to attempt to get back into society after coming from prison, and just how difficult that is, and how you don't want to burden people with your own problem, as Ace does in this entire film, where it's very obvious he does not want to burden people with what his issues are. But at times, burden is not burden, it's just help. And that is a hard lesson that Ace has to learn. And you just wanted the film to depict that a little more. And I think it would have engrossed a general audience more. But instead here, you just get abstract art. Something that if you are a lover of film, it's a very good chance you're going to like this film. If you're a lover of solid performances, there's nothing but a bunch of solid performances in this film. And again, the drawback, or the only part where it falls at all, is the point that it's just not explained enough to you what was going on. And at 70 minutes, you could have spent another 20 minutes attempting to explain exactly what, and no one would have embarked on the time frame of the film, because it's still a short film. But check it out. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review brought to you from the Tribeca Film Festival. Peace, people.